Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am Reeti and I am back with another lecture in the DBMS series. So in the last lecture, we learned on how we can find the super keys in a given relation. In this particular video, we would be learning on how we can find the candidate keys in a given relation. So without any further ado, let's get started. Now what is a candidate key? So a candidate key is basically a super key whose proper subset is not a super key. So let's understand term by term. What is a super key? So an attribute or a set of attribute is considered to be a super key if its closure gives all the attributes which is present in our relation. So consider that there is a relation or there is a table in which the attributes are A, B and C, and if the closure of a attribute or a set of attribute gives us all the attributes which is present in our relation, these are considered to be a super key. Now what is this proper subset? So consider that if we are having a set which is having elements such as A and B. Now if we want to take the subset of this, so it will be having phi A, B and AB. In proper subset, what it says is it should have all the elements except the element for which the subset we are taking. So it should be having all the elements. It should be having phi or empty set. It should be having A. It should be having B. But it shouldn't be having S, that is AB. So if we are taking a proper subset of a given set A and B, it should be having individual A and B but not AB because that is already present in S. So here we can say that proper subset of S is all the elements which is present in S except the elements which is present in the set S itself. So all the elements of A are also the elements of B. So all the elements of, consider that this is a set A. So all the elements of set A are also the elements of set B, and set B has at least one element that is not in A. So in A, if we take the subset of this, so it would be A, B, AB and phi. So at least AB, there is one set which is not there in B. So we can say that B is a proper subset of set A because B has at least one element that is there in set A but not in set B. So it has all the elements which are there in set A, but there is only one element which is there in set A but not in set B. So this is called as proper set. So we can say that whenever we are calculating the proper subset of a given set, it has all the elements which is present in the set except one element which is the set itself. So now coming back to the definition of candidate key. So it says a super key whose proper subset. So consider that AB is a super key right now and the proper subset of AB is A, B and phi is not a super key. So how we can find the super key? We have to take the closure. So we will take the closure of all three, and if the closure of all three are not super keys, we can say that this is a candidate key. If any one of them tends to be a super key, we can't say that this is a candidate key. So first we have to find out the super key, then we have to take the proper subset of super key, then we have to find that if the proper subset is a super key or not. So for that we will take the closure, and when we take the closure we will know that if it is determining all the attributes of a given table, and if it's not determining, we can say that this particular is not a super key, and if it's determining, we can say that this is a super key. And if any one of the proper subset is a super key, we can say that AB is not a candidate key. I know it might sound confusing, but let's see from a practice problem and then you will get a clarity on how we can find out the super key and the candidate key in a given relation. Now, there are two things you need to know before proceeding ahead with finding the candidate key. First is prime attribute and second is non-prime attribute. Let's see what are these. So an attribute that is a part of candidate key, we call it as prime attribute. So consider for now AB is our candidate key, and in our relation there are three attributes A, B and C. So we can say that A and B are the prime attributes as they are part of candidate key. And non-prime attribute are an attribute that is not a part of candidate key. So since there were three attributes and two of the attributes were part of candidate key, so we can say that C is a non-prime attribute and A and B are the prime attributes, since A and B are there in candidate key and C is not there in candidate. So how we can find the number of candidate key? Here are some steps we should follow to find the candidate keys. So the very first step is we have to take the closure of the entire attribute set. So consider that in our relation there are 3 attributes, A, B and C. So what we will do is first we will take the closure of the entire attribute set. Now secondly, we will discard the dependents if their determinants are present. So what are dependents and determinants? Consider that there is a functional dependency, A determines B. So we can say since A is determining B, this is determinant. And since B is functionally dependent on A, we can say that this is dependent. So in step B, what we have to do is we have to discard the dependents if their determinants are present. So since B's determinant is A and A is already present here, so what we will do is we will discard B from here. So we will discard the dependents if their determinants are present. Now after discarding, the final combination you get is a candidate key if its subset does not have a super key. So what we'll do is first we'll take the entire closure of all the attributes, and there we can find out that the closure will contain all the attribute of a given table because we are taking all the attributes closure, so it will be having all the attributes. So this is a super key. Now we have find out that there is a super key. From that super key, what we will do is we will go to the functional dependencies which are provided, and there we will see that if any dependent having a determinant is present here or not. If the determinant of any of the dependent is present, then we will discard the dependent. So here we have discarded B. Now we have left with AC. So can we say that AC is a candidate key? Right now, no, because we have to check if the proper subset of AC, that is A and C, is a super key or not. So what we will do here is we will take the closure of A, we will take the closure of C, and we will see that if it is a super key or not. If it's a super key, then we can say that this is not a candidate key if any of one of them is a super key. And if both of them are not a super key, we can say that AC is a candidate key. So right now we are assuming that AC is a candidate key. So we will mention A and C in the prime attribute. As the last step mention them in the prime attribute. Now in step 4, we will check that all the functional dependencies, and we will see in the right hand side if there is an attribute which has a determinant present in the prime attribute. If yes, mention that as well in the prime attribute and replace the dependent attribute with the determinant and check its candidate key. So right now we have found out that prime attributes are A and C. So we have to see that if A or C are lying in the right hand side of the functional dependency. So right now we have only one functional dependency where A determines B, and none of the prime attributes lies in the right hand side. But consider that if you have a dependency such as B determines C. So here you can see that C is a prime attribute and C lies in the right hand side. So what we can do is, right now we have calculated that AC is a candidate key. We can replace the dependent with its determinant. So right now AC is our candidate key. What we will do is, since C is the dependent and B is the determinant of C, we can replace C with B and we can check that if AB is a candidate key or not. So in this way we can find out all the combinations for which we can check that if they are candidate keys or not. If no prime attribute is available in the right hand side of functional dependency, we can say that there are no more candidate key, and the one key we made after discarding the dependent and checking for the super key is the only candidate key. So in this case, A and C, and the functional dependency was A determines B. Since there were no dependents which were present in the right hand side which were in the prime attributes, we can say that only AC is the candidate key. But when we added some additional functional dependency where B determines C and C is a dependent, so we can replace the dependent with its determinant, where AC can be replaced by AD, where C is replaced by B, and we can find out that if AB is a candidate key or not. So let's solve a practice question where we will find the candidate as well as super key for a given relation R, A, B, C, D, and the functional dependencies are given as follows. So let me just write it here. So there is a relation R, A, B, C, and D, and the functional dependencies provided are A determines B, B determines C, C determines D, and B determines A. So let's see that how we can find the candidate as well as super key. So let's find the super key. So to find the super key, firstly we will identify all the attributes. So all the attributes present are A, B, C, and D. Now in the second step, we will analyze the functional dependencies. So we will analyze that A determines B, B determines C. From this we can say A will determine C. Now B determines C, C determines D. Since C is common, we can say B determines D. Now B also determines A, and A determines B, B determines A, so A determines A is also a functional dependency. This is also the rule of reflexivity. We can say B determines B, C determines C, and D determines D. These are all the functional dependency. Now what we will do is we will find the closure for the single attribute. So firstly we will find the closure for A, B, C, and D, and we will see that if they are super keys or not. So let's find. So firstly we'll find the closure for A. So A closure will be having A, since A determines A. So we can say A closure will be having A for sure. Then A closure will be having B, since A is determining B. Now A is determining B, B is determining C, so A is also determining C, so we can say C is also there. Now A is determining B, B is determining C, C is determining D, so we can say B is determining D and A is determining B. So A is also determining D, so we can say D is also there. Now let's calculate for B. So B closure would be having B. Now B determines C, so let's write C, and C determines D, so we can say B will determine D, so we'll write D, and B also determines A, so we can write A. So the B closure will be having B, C, D, A. Now let's take the C closure. So C determines D, C will determine itself, and C will determine D, and then none of them. So C closure will be having C and D. Let's find the D closure. So D is determining nothing, so we can say D will determine only itself. So from here we can see that A closure and B closure are having all the attributes which are present in our relation or table. So we can say that A is also a super key and B is also a super key. Since C and D closure does not have all the attributes, so we are discarding them. So from here we got to know that A and B are super keys. Now we have to find the power set of this. So let's find the power set. So power set of A, B, C, D will be having 2 to the power 4, that is 16 sets. Now among that 16 sets, if there is any A which is in any set, that will be a super key. If there is B in any set, that will be a super key. So right now we will not go ahead and find the power set and then calculate the closure of that particular power set, and then we will find out the number of super keys. In the last video I told you about a formula where we find the number of super keys using 2 to the power n minus k, where n is the number of attributes and k is the attributes which is present in the candidate key. So if we find the candidate key, we can find the super key. And right now we know that A and B are at least a super key. Right now we don't know that if A, B, B, C, C, D are a super keys or not. But for now we know that A and B are the super keys. So let's find the candidate key. So for finding the candidate key, first we have to take the closure of the entire set. So we'll take the closure of the entire set, that is A, B, C, D. So A, B, C, D closure would be having A, B, C, D, because each attribute will determine itself using the rule of reflexivity. So we can say that this is a super key. So now in the step 2, we have to discard the dependents if their determinants are present. So we have got this key as A, B, C, D. Now in this we have to discard the dependents if their determinants are present. So the functional dependencies which are provided to us are A determines B, B determines C, C determines D, and B determines A. Now these are the functional dependencies which are provided to us. And also we can also say, using the rule of transitivity, A determines C and B determines D, since B is common between these two and C is common between these two. Now here we have to discard the dependents if the determinants are present. So let's start. So here B is the dependent and A is the determinant. Both are present, so we can discard the dependent, that is B. So now we are left with A, C and D. Now coming here, C is the dependent and B is the determinant. C is present but B is not present, so we will not take this into consideration. Coming here, D is the dependent and C is the determinant. C and D both are present, so we can discard the dependent, that is D. So we are left with AC. Now coming to this functional dependency, A is the dependent and B is the determinant, but since A is only present here, we will not look into this functional dependency. Now coming to this, C is the dependent and A is the determinant. A and C both are present here, so we can discard the dependent, that is C. Now coming to this functional dependency, B determines D. D is the dependent and B is the determinant. Any of the B and D is not present here, so we can ignore this. So after step 2, we are only left with A. Now, after discarding the final combination you get is a candidate key if its subset does not have a super key. So we have to take the subset of A. So subset of A would be phi. Now phi closure does not gives me anything, so this is not a super key. So we can say that A is a candidate key because the proper subset of A does not gives me a super key. So we can say A is the candidate key. Now what we have to do is we have to mention them in prime attribute. So we will make a prime attribute and here I can mention A. So in the fourth step, what we will do is we'll check for all functional dependency and see if in the right hand side there is an attribute which has a determinant present in the prime attribute. So what we have to do is in the right hand side we have to see that if A is present or not. If A is present, then mention at this in the prime attribute. So we have to mention that particular determinant in the prime attribute and then we have to replace this dependent with that particular determinant and check if it's a candidate key or not. So what we have to do is we have to check in the right hand side if A is present or not. If A is present in right hand side of any of the functional dependency, we have to replace A with the determinant and we have to mention that in the prime attribute. So for now we can see that there is only one place where A is in the right hand side and there is a determinant of A, that is B. So what we will do is we will mention that in the prime attribute and then we will replace A with B and follow the same step and see that if it's a candidate key or not. So let's see. So let's take a proper subset of B. So the proper subset of B is phi, and if I take the closure of phi, this is not giving me a super key. So we can say that B is also a candidate key. So here B and A both are candidate key. Now for B we have to see that if B is present at the right hand side of any of the functional dependency, yes, B is present in this functional dependency, but A already is a candidate key, we have already seen. So we have to do nothing because now B is not present in any of the functional dependency in the right hand side. So if no prime attribute is available in the right hand side of functional dependency, we can say that there are no more candidate key and the one key we made after discarding the dependent and checking for the super key is the only candidate key. So right now we can say that A and B are the only candidate keys in this particular relation. So this is how we find the candidate key. So here we can see that there are two candidate keys. Now for super key, we have a formula 2 to the power n minus k, where n is the number of attributes and k is the number of attributes in the candidate key. So let's see that how we can find the number of super keys when we know the candidate key. So here the candidate key is A and B. Now if I calculate for A, I can say that it will be 2 to the power n minus k. So n is 4 and the number of attribute in candidate key is 1. So we can say it's 1. So it would be 2 to the power 3. Now coming for B, it will again be 2 to the power n minus k. So n is 4, number of attributes, that is A, B, C, D. And then k is 1 because we are only calculating for B. So it will be 2 to the power 4 minus 1, that is 2 to the power 3. So for A, we are having 2 to the power 3. For B, we are having 2 to the power 3. But consider that we are calculating for the combination where A, B both are there and both are the candidate keys. So what we will do is when we are calculating for both of the combination, there is A, B, C, D, and here if I say that A and B both are candidate key, so only C, D can have a combination with A, B, because if A, B is present anywhere, that would be a super key, right? So we have to calculate only for C, D. So we can say that here, since two attributes are candidate key, so in 2 to the power n minus k, n will be 4, but the number of attributes which is present in candidate key is 2. So we can say it would be 2 to the power 4 minus 2, it would be 2 to the power 2. So we have to just subtract that. So it will be 2 to the power 2 minus. So it will be 8 plus 8 minus 4, that is 12. So we can say that this is having 12 super keys and 2 candidate keys. So in this way we find the super key as well as candidate key in a given relation. So this was all about this video. I hope you like this video. So if you like this video, please hit the like button. If you're someone who is new to my channel, can go ahead and watch out the tech content first. And if you find it useful, can go ahead and subscribe. Also, if you have not followed me on my social media handles, you can go ahead and follow. The links are in the description. Till then, take care, keep learning, keep growing, keep smiling. Bye all.